Okay, imagine this for a second. An autonomous AI agent is working for your company, and all of a sudden, it glitches. In a fraction of a second, it makes a catastrophic mistake, a terrible trade, it wipes the system, shuts down your whole production line. Your business is just financially ruined. And now, for the multi-trillion-dollar question,
Right? Who's on the hook? Do you sue the AI? You can't. What about the developer who wrote the model, or the cloud company that was hosting it, or maybe the employee who gave it the prompt in the first place?
The terrifying answer is, nobody really knows. Right now, there is no clear legal or technical framework for this anywhere in the world. It is the definition of the Wild West. We're building this absolutely world-changing technology on top of, well, nothing, a total void.
And look, this isn't just some late-night philosophical debate. This is a massive, fundamental engineering problem. While the rest of the world is in this huge arms race to make AI smarter and faster, we're going to look at the work of one inventor who's focused on something completely different, making AI accountable.
to figure out how we might actually solve this digital mess, we have to start in a really unexpected place. See, the architect of this new trust layer for AI, he doesn't come from Silicon Valley. He's not some ex-Google or Meta exec, not even close. On one side, you've got the typical profile, right? A software engineer, someone who grew up in the culture of code. But on the other side, you have the architect of this solution, Oleh Vasylenko. And his blueprint for AI governance, it comes from a 35-year career in the super-regulated world of specialty foods, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals. His background is this incredible fusion of disciplines that you just don't see. He's an entrepreneur who spent decades manufacturing physical products. At the same time, he's a licensed attorney specializing in intellectual property. Oh, and on top of all that, he holds a PhD in public governance. This combination of engineering, law, and policy, it's the secret sauce to his whole approach.
And this quote, it explains everything. For decades, he learned how high-stakes systems in the real, physical world need formal, legal, and structural protections. So when he turned his attention to AI, he just brought that exact same disciplined mindset into this new digital frontier.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because it's all about the mindset. For years, the tech industry has run on this mantra of move fast and break things. A bug is just an inconvenience, you just push out a patch. But in his world, in specialty food production, that's not an option. If you mess up a chemical formula or a contaminant gets into your supply chain, people get physically hurt. You can't just patch that. So how does a guy with that kind of background end up designing AI architecture? Well, the origin story is actually incredibly relatable. It didn't start in some high-tech lab or a fancy boardroom. It was about being a dad. About 2 years ago, Oleh realized he needed to understand this new world. So he started really using AI tools, side by side with his kids, just pushing the boundaries, seeing where they were amazing, and, more importantly, seeing where the underlying logic just completely fell apart. And because he came from these heavily regulated industries, he instantly saw these vulnerabilities that most software developers were just completely ignoring. He found 4 catastrophic gaps: no real trust infrastructure, no universal way to prove digital identity, no standard way to delegate authority, and, you guessed it, no clear way to attribute liability. Without these things, accountability just isn't possible. This analogy just nails the danger perfectly. We have all these incredibly powerful AI agents built by different companies, running on different platforms, and they have no shared language for trust or for who's responsible. The whole system is basically ungovernable by design. Okay, spotting a problem this huge is one thing. But Oleh didn't just write a blog post or build a simple app. No, he set out to invent a fundamental standard. A complete 7-layer blueprint to build that missing foundation from the absolute ground up. And he made it official. We're talking about 33 separate patent applications filed in Ukraine and Estonia. This isn't just about building another product. This is about inventing a totally new technical solution with so much detail and precision that it can be legally protected and standardized across the entire globe. So these patents, they form this really elegant 7-layer stack. It all starts at the bottom with layer 1, identity, because you can't trust anyone or anything if you don't know who you're dealing with. Then comes layer 2, delegation, which is all about securely defining what an AI is allowed to do. Layer 3 is governance, setting the actual rules. Then you've got attribution and accountability to trace every action back to its source. Layer 6 is enforcement, making sure the rules are actually followed. And at the very top, layer 7, recovery, for when things inevitably go wrong. So to see how this all works, let's just zoom in on a couple of the most mind-bending layers.
All right, here's the core challenge of layer 3,
which is called semantic governance. That's just a fancy term for creating rules based on meaning and intent. Think about it. With a rental car, you can use GPS to draw a digital fence. If the car crosses the line, the engine cuts out. Simple. But how on earth do you do that for something as abstract as an AI's intentions?
The big invention here is a system that can represent an AI's intent as a mathematical vector. So before the AI can do anything, its intention is calculated against this four-dimensional box. The box defines the what, the category, the how much, the magnitude, the where, geographic scope, and the how long, the time. If the AI's intended action breaks out of that mathematical box, it is stopped cold, before it can ever execute.
But for the really critical stuff, we're talking power grids, surgical robots, you need an absolute last resort failsafe. And this is the crucial part. This isn't just a software policy. The enforcement layer of this system is an actual hardware kill switch embedded right on the microcontroller.
See, a software rule can be hacked. It can be bypassed or corrupted. This is different. If the AI's intent vector goes way outside its mandate while it's controlling a critical system, the physical circuit literally breaks. The power is cut. You can't hack it with software because it's grounded in the laws of physics.
Now, this whole architecture might sound a little theoretical, a little sci-fi, but I promise you, it's not. There's a massive regulatory freight train heading our way, and the clock is ticking for the entire tech industry.
On August 2nd, 2026, the European Union's AI Act goes into full enforcement. In tech years, that is basically tomorrow, and it marks this monumental shift in how AI is going to be governed.
Right now, AI safety is, well, it's mostly for show. Companies sign these voluntary pledges, they publish some blog posts, but after August 2026 in the EU, all those promises become legally worthless. Companies will be forced to technically prove the accountability, the transparency, and the controllability of their AI systems. And Ole's 7-layer stack, it's designed to provide exactly that technical proof.
So, what does all of this mean for our future? Well, as this kind of infrastructure actually gets built, it raises this really profound question about the nature of trust itself. It pushes us beyond the engineering and into how our entire society is going to function.
Just think about it. If an AI agent carries a real-time, mathematically proven trust score, where its identity is rock solid, its intentions are locked down, and its liability is guaranteed, will we get to a point where we actually trust that agent more than an anonymous, unpredictable human on the other side of the screen? That is a staggering thought, and it gets right to the heart of why building this foundation of trust matters so much.